Good afternoon, all. In this session, we will see the performance factors, the security things, what we are mechanisms we have to consider, and at last we will see how could we efficiently describe the energy or the energy factors which are specifically used in all these things. Will used in this one. So for this thing, we will cover the first one is we will see first one performance metrics and scalability analysis. So performance metrics means what could be the performance metrics we will have to consider. And as you know, the scalability has been discussed in the first sessions there itself only. So we will see what are the dimensions of the scalability here. And then next in the occurrence of the fault, how these things has to be considered, how the fault tolerance has to be specified, and what is the availability of the system, and what could be the threats, and how we are maintaining the integrity of the data. And last we will see a model which is supporting this energy efficiency. So the first one, performance matrix and the scalability analysis. In this performance matrix, we will see what are the metrics we are using for calculating the performance. So for example, means in the name of the matrix, what we will say we that is a height, centimeters, meters, like that means these are the factors, or these are things we are calculating the metrics in that one. If we are describing about the computing, so how we are going to take these metrics into count means, so the CPU says speed what you are taking will be in the MIPS, and the network bandwidth what you are using will be specified here, that is estimating the performance and the uh, network performance, that is also processor performance, MIPS. And then next what you are using the for the network bandwidth, we are using the MBPS. This is for the CPU speed. And while coming to the system throughput, how we are going to specify here is it is also by the MIPS. And then next T flops we are using, means how many floating point operations it is performing per second. So the first one which is representing is the teraflops. There are also petaflops also is there. And then next TPS, which is the transactions per second. So these are the metrics what you are using, means for the CPU speed, how many instructions it is, multiple instructions it is processing per second. And then next for bandwidth, how we are going to calculate these metrics, what is your value of this thing is we are taking 2k mbps, or then next you can specify 5k mbps, like that we can specify any type of the bandwidth for the network what you are chosen. While coming to the performance, means that is a speed CPU using. While coming these throughout this one, how you are going to analyze your data performances, it is based on the instructions you have been executed per second, and it is also using how many operations you have been processed per second, that is a T flops. And then next for the you are also mentioning the TPS transactions per second. Other measures what you are taking here is response time is there, waiting time is there, and then next what you are having is the latency time is there. If any booting has occurred, OS boot time, and the next compiling time. If you are any that is any connection oriented is there, IO connection oriented is there, what you have to do is nothing but IO data rate has to be considered, means in between input and the output devices, how it is going to transfer the data, what is the how it is the means processing all these things has to be taken into account. And then runtime has to be specified there. These things has to be considered, all this one. Other than this one, we are having means how we are defining these performance related metrics, or that is the quality of the service we are getting. These all the things we are performing, we are considering while performing. CPU speed means while executing, or while means programming your thing. And then next throughput means after the execution of the things you will calculate, means how will be these things has to be specified, means what is the performance of your task has been given by the quality of the service what you are getting from these internet or any web services you have specified. means you can say that it has a system availability, and then next the integrity of the data, dependability, and then next security resilience is there. So today you gain to know that the 24/7 you have to specify, means the system has to be available, means in CSNS you got the point, that is the system availability. System availability means the system what you are chosen for processing or anything, any type of the represent, any data center, any processor, or any IO device or anything what you have chosen for, it should be available through a 24/7. That is a high availability factor has to be there. And then next the security resilience will be there. Security levels means if any attack has been occurred, what it has to do is nothing but the system has to defend from that one. So we are having many different factors, that is methodologies or the mechanisms also there. How we can overcome all these things, it has to be represented. And then next we have the dimensions of the scalability. There are the scalability means I think you have seen in the second session or like that, what is the scalability means. Scalability means the capacity or the means the tendency what you are taken to be increasable or the decreasable. There you have the scale in, scale out, and then next scale up, scale down, horizontal scaling and vertical scaling and the diagonal scaling. These are the types. In that you having scale in, scale out, and then scale up, scale down. These are the things you are specifying. So what it is, scaling means the means it's a factor or it's a feature. What it is, it has a capability of increasing or decreasing its feature. So what is the feature here specifying here is, the first one is the size scalability. So what this scalability or this word this size represents here is how far we can add processors, and then next memory spaces or any storages or any IO channels or anything what are useful for your processing. How long we can refer to, means how can you can add to that thing will be represented in size scalability. So here what you have to do is nothing but the scalability factor of the processor. If you are consider scalability factor of the processor means how many processors has been added to your network is the scalability factor when you are compared with the size. If you are using memory spaces, there is a factor that is we can use the extra memory space in your processor also. So what it is specifying, what is the size, memory size of your processor means, if you are using many memory chips like that, you will say I'm using this much of memory, I'm using this much of things like that, you can specify. So if you want to take another one, that is I am also using some externally connected device also to store my data, like that it is specifying. So what is the size means, how are you are adding all these things to one, means adding things can be processors, cache, and then next storages, that is the memory spaces you are using, or the IO devices what you are choosing can be added there. And the second one is the software scalability. So here the software scalable means processors means what you are doing, we can add the physical devices to our network. But what you have to do in the software scalability means it is already developed one, you are installed one. You can't yeah, means install more apps to more softwares like that one. For example, if you want to take the any software into account, what you have to do, what is that, to increase the capability of the software, what you have to do, we need to upgrade that one. Means we don't need to add these software twice or thrice like that. So you have to increase the size, means you need to add the devices to your network. What is the software scalability means, what the software you are using has to be upgraded apparently. Means you are saying you are using mobiles, what it is specifying, some day by day it is giving some updations to your apps what you are using there. So here what it is, sometimes some apps giving updations within 2 days also. So you can't see what the updations they have been done, minute updations will be there. So you can't see all these things, means while specifying all these things, what they do, they will give the some description what's new. If you see while updating, while clicking on that, then what it is specifying what's new. So it is it will, if it is any major changes is there, what it is doing is it is giving the description of that one. and also specifying the usage of that one also. So if it is not like that, any bugs are there or any irrelevance of accessing is there, what it is there, they will give the improvement in bug fixes and the functionality like that. The simple message will be there. If sometimes we will see that their message is that is information is not provided by the developer. So these are the things will be there. So what is the software scalability means? The things what you are added to your computer has to be upgraded. So this is the processor point of view. If you go for the size scalability, what it is consist of, it is completely of the network point of view. So to increase the scalability of the network, we need to add the more processors, or we can add the memory spaces which is in processors point of view like that. So after that, we are having third one, that is the application scalability. So here the application scalability here is application what you are using. So the software means you are specifying any software or any application you are specifying will be the some simultaneously accessible. But what is the application here is whether the application what you have chosen is suitable to your computer or not, or is suitable to your device or not, you have to decide. So how far I will decide it is suitable to your device or not means, first we will see for which type of systems or the which type of things it is supporting. It is supporting Android one or iOS one, Mac or any Linux oriented, any different types of will be there. Na? So we have to see what is the compatibility of that one. So if I am compatible with that application or with any with that app, what I will do, I will try to install that thing. So before installing that thing, what it has to do is nothing but you must see after the capability, that is a compatibility, we must see the memory space, what it is supporting, that is what it is having, and what is the memory space left in your devices or thing. So what is the thing you need to add there, sir? So first, what it is, the problem size means that is the application what you are using, that is how much size it is taking has to be specified. So why? Because if you are adding, if you are if it is using some 600 MB, likewise it is considered 600 MB of the space is there, or specify it is taking some 2 GB of the 2 MB of the space like that. So if it is taking 2 MB or 2 GB of the space to installation only, after usage, after usage means you will add some data to your apps. Means for example, if you are choosing WhatsApp is there, daily you are chatting, and then next your images will be there, some videos, and then next emojis, and then next you will have some different documents, all these things will be there. So what it is doing, it is showing, if you if you go for your file explorer, what you will get, you will have the WhatsApp images and the documents supporting sound files, audio clips, all these things will be there. So what it is doing, it is storing your data daily what you are performing, it is storing the data. Means you are giving the data to not only to the application, for what you are also giving for the further one also, you have to provide all these things. Sometimes while means installing your files, what did you are getting, some in some mobiles you will get there is no enough space to store to install this application like that. So what you have to do is nothing but you need to clear up all the spaces what you are having early, and then next if there is no usage of the another applications, you have to uninstall there itself only. So the application scalability specifies what is the problem size, and then next if it is compatible with your, or if it is that is matching with your device or not, means whatever the device you are using, if it is not matching with your device, what you have to do is nothing but we need to take that is you have to replace the application which is similar to that one. There are some similar apps are there. So if you know, if you want to use that app only, what you have to do is nothing but you must make a space for that one. So if it is not having that space, what you have to do, you have to uninstall and then clear the caches. All these things has to be performed. If not, what it does here, simply it will take the time into that one. Application installment means it is not simply installing the applications. Whenever you are updating, whenever you are using that one, whatever the data, and then it's whatever the updation files you are doing has to be added to that one application. That's why what it have to do is nothing but before adding the application to your device, think for the presence and then also for the later use also. And then next and the last one, technology scalability. So here what you have to do is nothing but we need to take that is a notion that what are the technologies to be adopted by your system. Means nowadays you are using some technologies, means of some software, some applications what you are providing. So these phones or whatever you are using, whatever how they are designed is they are not designed or they are not means used by for particular or the for presence only. What we have to do is nothing but we need to take into account of the future use. For example, some applications are there, they are supporting some different platforms, or what you are doing, there is no need to install all. If you are using trying to use the Linux application on your Windows one, it won't allow. But what you have to do, you have to use the applications what you are using for the Windows only. And also what you have to do is nothing but you have to think about the what are the technologies we are using for the component network. All these things has to be considered. So while designing the system, means while designing the system, what you have to do, you have to think of so not only the presence in the future, means for the take it as for the next 5 years or the 6 years, means not for the long time. Not long time means it won't be accessible. So for the 5 years, if any technologies, new technologies are emerging, whether in the computation way or in the networking way or anything, my system what I am designing will support that one. So technology scalability means you have to emerge the new technologies to your system. How come you are adding this thing here is we need to take all these things into that is you want to change the motherboard, what it is supporting, means that is whatever you are doing in the with your computer is not supported by your present one. So that's why what you will do, you will take the motherboard changing all these things. So no need to change off that one. So there is no need to impact on your hardware. On the next on the devices what it is connected to, there is no need to impact on that one. What you have to do is nothing but while designing we need to take the time and then space and then next heterogeneity into the consideration. Time means generations, means for the next 5 years or the next 6 years, whatever the technologies are adding or the whatever the technologies emerging should be supported by the my system or the my device which I am designing, that means which I am developing. And then next second one, that is space. So what is the space here is related to the what is the energy or the next what are the things you are adding. Again what you will say, that is any portability has been there. All these things has to be considered in that one. And also the memory spaces what you are using. And the third one, heterogeneity. Heterogeneity means what are the usage of things you are doing. Means for example, you are having some Lenovo or Apple, all these things here, means anything what any vendor you are chosen. Means if you are using Apple phone or anything, you are trying to connect with the another device. What it is doing, it is allowing you. For example, you are using one laptop which is the Apple one, and you are using some phone that is a Samsung or any Vivo or anything. So what it is, it should be allow the other devices to connect with you. Means it is not allowing to means I am the Lenovo and I am also access only the Lenovo phones. So my device is the my laptop is the Apple and I will access only Apple phones, means it's not the appreciable one. What it has to do is nothing but as the usage of these hardware and the next the software packages also. Means the softwares which has been divided by the Apple only you will install in the Apple, or the software which has been means designed by the Acer or the Lenovo or any other means any other will be there, no? That only be installed in my computer or in my phone or like that, means it not the heterogeneous one. Means it should be not dependent on the vendor who are being designed. Means the system what you are designed should be capable of accessible any hardware device or any software packages which has been developed by different vendors, not the same vendors. Okay. So what it is doing here is there is no obligation or the objection that you can't use the other vendors things here. So what is a size scalability? Size scalability means adding up of the processors from in the point of view of the network. For example, if you are taking size scalability in the account of the processor, we are increasing the memory space, we are adding the that is input or the output devices to that one. That is a size scalability. And the software scalability means the software what you are installed in your computer, what it is specifying, it has to be taken into account that they are it has to be upgraded simultaneously or eventually whenever we are having some updations there. And then coming to the application scalability, what is the application is specifying, that is there should be matching factor between the problem size what you have chosen and the machine size. Means if I am taking the example that is application, the application what you are going to install for your process, what it has to do, it should be capable with your machine. If you are going to take the project what you're going to design with your computer, what it has to do, it should be capable of that is project files, and it store all the data, and then data sets what you're having, some testing tools, all these things, some compilers, runtime factors, all these things has to be considered. Your system has to support the application that is development oriented one has to be considered. And the last one, technology scalability, means whatever you are designing, that is the system what you are designing should be not the present use. You should think of their future use also. Means you can take into consideration that is 5 years or the next 2 years, like that. Means based on the system what you are designing. So if you are using some system, means that is a laptop, means you will take off the chance of using some 5 to 6 years majorly. And if you are using the phone, means eventually based on your that is a device, you will change the phones like that. So what it has to do is nothing but based on that is these factors, that is time, space, and heterogeneity. What you have to do, you need to design the system which will emerge the new technologies into your device what you have been designed. So that's about dimensions of the scalability. And then next in the performance metrics, we have the third one, that is a scalability versus OS image count. So what it is specifying here is in this thing. So what is the scalable performance we are using? Scalable performance means how it is changing from you means operator, sorry, not the operator, what are the system to system. Here we are having the many systems, we are having symmetric multiprocessing, cloud is there, clusters are there, P2P, that is peer-to-peer network is there, grid structures are there, and also the new one, that is a NUMA. Here you see here you see that is a NUMA. What is a NUMA? Here is a non-uniform memory access. These are the machines which has been made out of these symmetric multiprocess units. What is the concept here is they will support the shared memory, and what it is doing is they supporting to run on the multiple operating systems, and they have the capacity to scale, that is they can add multiple processes to that system there itself. So coming to the scalability, you know the scalability means the capacity, the feature which is used for these increasing or the decreasing of your things. And the next one is the scalability versus OS image count. So OS image count means single system image. There is a concept called the single system image. What we are doing there, what is the system what is the perspective of the system, what is the system is specifying, has been created by means has to maintain a image there, that is called the single system image. So in that one, what you will see, what is the processor, what is the memory space we are using, and then what are the RAMs or the hard disk what you are using, all these things, the important things what you are chosen for, what is the platform it is supporting, what are the important things what it is affecting will be stored in the image. So here we have the, in this diagram, we have the different types of the systems, and what it is having is a multiple system images it is maintaining. While coming to the SMP, that is a system, that is symmetric multiprocessor here. So this symmetric multiprocessor, what it is doing, it is a server which will have only a single system image. So what it is doing is it is not taking another things, that is many systems into account. So see here, this one is represented as the number of the process increasing. How many systems it is maintaining is mostly it is some 10 to 100 only. 10 to 100 only it is maintaining. That is, it is having only few processors only into that one. And what it is doing is, in this few processors only, it is sharing the memory. And also what it is doing is it is also specifying this here, that is as a large cluster. Means when you are compared this one with this cluster and this cluster, this is specified as a small one. But eventually what it is doing is, the SMP what you are using is will maintain some few, that is up to 100 only, 100 systems only it is maintaining. And what it is doing is it is giving an opportunity to that systems to have the access of their memory. And also the systems which are interconnect, they will intercommunicate with them by using some message passing techniques also. Well, coming to the next one, that is after the evolution of the SMP, from SMP, NUMA has been there. So this NUMA means non-uniform memory access. So what this is doing, it is taken from the, that is the perspective of the SMP only. But what it is doing is it is taking the distributed sharing memory or the shared memory into an account. And also it is taking the things, that is it will run the multiple operating systems, and can also scale in or the scale out based on the environment what it has been chosen. So if you want to add the some processors here, you can access up to some thousands of, means here, so up to thousand of the processors can be used here. And it is also providing the, sorry, and it is also providing the that is you can intercommunicate with the systems which has been added in this circle. And also it is also providing a message passing interface, same like SMP, uh, through communicate, message passing, my message send and the receive, you have seen some programs also. Likewise what they are doing, they will process all these things into one. So what it is doing is, if it is having, means for example, I'm taking, if it is having some 3000 or some 2500 processors are there. So what it is doing is they will maintain many OS images of the NUMA systems. Why so? Means for maintaining 2500 processors, what it has to do is nothing but it will take roughly 32 symmetric multiprocessor operating systems here. Means it will take SMPs into this account. Okay. So here it will take 1000. SMP will take 1000. And then next it is what it is doing, NUMA can support few thousands of the systems. So for each and every means it will divide the systems into a small clusters. What it is doing is it is taken into account that each of these systems, means some few hundred systems will be maintained as a SMP. So for 2500 appropriately, what it is doing is it will maintain 32 likewise SMP operating systems, which will intentionally lead as 32 operating system images, which are the separated here. Means this that is symmetric multiprocessing system, what it is doing, it is maintaining a single system image there itself. What you are doing, we are maintaining a system which is having the NUMA for the approximately 2500 like that. So what it is doing, so before, means apart from maintaining 2500 single system images, what it is doing is it is taking SMP into account into the NUMA. So it is being divided that how many systems are there, for example 2400 like that it are considering. What it is doing, it is taking 32 SMPs into account. So 32 SMPs means 32 single system images there. So apart from maintaining 2048 individual system images, what it is doing is it is maintaining only 32 SMP system images here. While coming to the next one, that is a cluster. So here the cluster nodes can be means here it is apart from the you are representing NUMA is in the cluster there itself only. So it can be using these SMP servers or any high-end machines what you are using. But the thing what it has to be specified is the clusters on the grades or anything what you are specifying, they are completely means supporting the factor that is the loosely coupled. Means any systems you want to add, you want to expand your network, or you want to add more resources to that one, there could be no problem while adding that one. It could be easily allow the systems to done, means allow the things to be done in that way. So for that one, what it is doing is it can maintain these SMP servers in that one, or it simply adds the high-end machines to maintain all these things together. So here the cluster what you are saving, it is means it is having the features of your SMP and the NUMA, but here the scalability of the cluster what you are using is greater than, or is maximized by this one. So see here how many systems it will support, means apart from this one it will support the 10 to the power of 5 systems can be supported in a cluster. I am saying in a cluster ma. So in a cluster we can maintain all these things here. So here you are maintaining that much of systems, means what it is taking, when it taking that much of images has to be maintained here. So yeah, there is no problem. There is no problem here, because the cluster means you can divide, you can have a single cluster image here. The cluster will have the, like SMP, a cluster will have a image. In that you have the 10 clusters, means you will have the 10 cluster images there. Means if you are having 1 lakh nodes in your cluster, there is no need to maintain 1 lakh single system images to that one. What it is apparently seeing here is the cluster will have a image here, means what it is maintaining in that one will be imposed or will be seen in that image only. So likewise in the SMP only, what it is doing, it is maintaining its image. So here the cluster what you are using have only one image. That's why how many clusters you will have, means for example 100 clusters will have 100 single system images are there. If your 100 cluster will have the lakhs of nodes in that one, it would be imaged in that image only. That's that first, that is a single system image of the cluster only. So whereas consider as the cloud, if you see the cloud what you have specified, and within this one cluster, why it is specified as a in this area, means a cloud can be, or a cloud could be specified as a virtualizer cluster there. Means we can be scale up or the scalable by using some virtual machines what you are using there. So likewise it is a cloud is specified as a cluster. That's why we emerged in this to this thing. And then next, this is the peer-to-peer net. It is using the aspects of the cloud and also the cluster, and is of the grid here. So the after that one we are having the grid node. So what this one is, that it is a server cluster or a mainframe or a data center supercomputer or a massive parallel system or anything you can specify. Because when you heard about a grid merge, just try to remember the 9 by 9 matrix, not only the 9 by matrix, 2 by 2 matrix there itself. 2 by 2 matrix also. When you are considering 2 by 2 matrix, what it is having 2 rows and 2 columns. So these 2 rows and 2 columns are filled with the 4 systems you are having. So one grid is applicable, or one grid is processing how many systems, means first grid is having 2 systems, second grid is having 2 systems. Total it is processing 4 systems into single one. When you are taking 9 to 9 into an account, first row is considered as a grid 1, that is a first system. So total how many systems have been supported by the grid, means you will say 81 nodes are there. Means how it is processing, means in the first node it is having, the first node is having some different one. On the second node the first row will have the 9 nodes, which is having a different processing, second row and then third row, and then like that it will process all these things into account. So these are the examples we are having while processing. And then next we are having two laws, Adam's law, and then next Gustafson's law. So here Adam's law, what it is doing, it is going to take care about the what is the execution time taken for processing of these computers here. So here I took the example. The means the program what you are considering is running in parallel with other servers, and it is on a cluster, and it is processing through many processing nodes. So here how we are going to take all these things into here is how it is going to, means the fraction of code what it is going to execute, means here I am saying what it is doing, it is executing in the parallelly. So parallelly executing means what I have to do is nothing but what the work I have been divided with these things has to be known by. Means I am executing parallelly. This is the system processor, or this is the system processing time is not the thing I have to consider. I should know what is the processing, what is the code has been given to that one. Means the code has been given to process, that is processor 1, and then next processor 2, processor 3, like that I should know. Means for example, while executing any program, some may get easy programs, some may get, means while dividing your project into modules, what it is doing is some modules will have the means great pressure of the work, and some modules may don't have the pressure of the work on that one. So we can't say that all the modules which has been executed by the team members have the same impact of the work. What you have to do, you should know which processor or the which person is having the impact of the work on that one. So we should consider all these things into account. So for this one, what you are doing here, we need to take the fraction of the code should be alpha here, and it will what it is doing, the alpha is executing sequentially and parallelly here. Means the code what it is specified has to be used in all these things has to be done here. So here we need to take how many processes are executing. So how many processes we are executing means we will simply take it as a n. N is the factor, or the n is the thing what you are chosen here. So the total execution time on this parallel execution of n process is taken as alpha t plus 1 minus alpha into t divided by n. So here how I suggested all these things here is, the first term what you have taken here that is alpha t, it is represented as a sequential execution time. Sequential execution time is whenever you are executing your programs, massive programs, if you are not executing sequentially, you won't get the the correct output there. The programs what you have chosen, if it is executing sequentially, what you are doing, you have to calculate the time, that one. So what I am doing is I am calculating this sequential executing time on a single processor only. So means not the multiple process I am getting on the single process. So that's why alpha t is mentioned there. And then next the second term, that is 1 minus alpha divided into t, the second term, it is a parallel execution time on the n processing nodes. So that is for the next nodes what you are considered, means that is for the first node for the first term, and the next node you are specifying that would be for the second term. So based on that one, that is for the only execution time, that is what you have taken here. So based on that, Adams law proposes that the speed up factor for using all these n process systems over the use of single processor can be speed up is equals to s, which is that is having the t divided by, we are taking the total execution time into account, and you also by that what you are getting is a 1 by alpha plus 1 minus alpha, and then next divided by n. So these are the things we are specifying here, that is to get the speed up factor. What is the formula here is 1 by alpha plus 1 minus alpha divided by n. So here the maximum speed what you are taking of the n can be, means achieved only that is alpha is reduced to 0, or that is if you are using the code is fully parallelizable with alpha is equals to 0. Means you need to specify the alpha reduce it to 0, means you are reducing its factor, or you should make that is alpha is equals to 0 there. Then only you will get the maximum speed of factor here. So if not, what it does is nothing but what it is simply providing the things has to be considered. It's not a means the processing speed of that one, it not be included or not being considered here. So yeah, I'm taking one example. The maximum speed achieved is 4, means maximum speed achieved is 4, means that is s is equals to 4 I have taken. So when it is achieving the 4, if alpha is equals to 0.5, then 1 minus alpha is equals to 0.75, then what you are getting there, that is you are having some factor there, and I should know how many processors are there. So if you are taking processors into account is hundreds of process, means how many they how many clusters are there, we can say that is 4 clusters which is having some thousand nodes into the account, which is having 250 clusters into that account, like that I am specifying. So here when you are using 1000 systems into an account, what is the speed achieved here is only 4, because how it is specifying, it is decreasing by the alpha factor there. So it is completely depends upon the alpha factor what you are using. So here how I am come to means increase all these things here is, so the sequential execution is coming to account. This sequential that is processing is making the that is the things to be in a decreasing manner. So here there arises a problem. What is the problem here is the same amount of the workload assumed to the both signal, means likewise I said what you have done here, we need to take into account that each and every processor is having the same amount of the work or not, or the same data set or not, or the same problem size or not, I have to know. So for that, what I have to do here, I need to fix my workload. In a previous example, I didn't fix it my previous law, I didn't fix it my workload there. So what I am doing, I simply allowing to calculate that one. So by allowing that one, likewise I said, somebody will have the more work, more pressure work on that one. Somebody who may don't have, they will finish their work in fraction of seconds, or they will finish their works in days. But somebody will take months or years like that. So based on the thing what they have given, will decide what is the that is the speed of factor it is having. So for that, what you have to do here, we need to take the workload to be fixed to that one. So to execute these fixed workload on the end process in parallel processing, we use system efficiency into an account, not the system speed. We include system efficiency here. So E is equals to S by N, which is equals to what is the here what it is specifying here is in previous example as in previous formula, S is equals to 1 by alpha plus 1 minus alpha divided by n. So by that what you are getting, 1 by alpha n plus 1 minus alpha. So that is a formula to get the efficiency of a system. So this is an example I took here. So I mentioned we are having a cluster. The cluster is having how many nodes? 256 nodes, where n is equals to 256 has been specified. So I am trying to execute a program on a cluster which is having the 256 nodes, and I am trying to know what could be the efficiency of a cluster here. So here now 256 is the specified, and I am giving the alpha value, that is a fraction of code which has been shared. That is I am fixed it with that one, that is 0.25. So this 0.25 and the next 256 will be substituted in E formula, where E is equals to, you will get 1.5% as a thing. So 1.5%, what is the efficiency of this one is, it is taking only 1.5% only. But how many systems you have been used? 250 systems you have been used in your processing. And you are saying how that is you are using 256 process to execute this code or this function or this application, and you are getting this very low. Why? Because all the time we are not using all these things here, and it is also specifying we are not making all the processors what it is doing. What I mean, we are giving equal workload to that one. Equal workload means all the persons, all the process will work at the same time, or if they what they are doing is they will won't wait for the others also, they will won't wait the very long time. So that's why it is giving the efficiency as a low. But here there is a concept, there is a, if you are not taking that is a fixed workload into account, what will happen is some process will execute, means likewise I said, some finish their work in 2 days, some finish their works in 2 weeks. Means apart from these 2 days, what they are doing from the left of days, they are just being kept idle. just that's all. They has been idle for all these days only. Means in the remaining 12 days, what your others were processing, the remaining person what you have chosen has been in a idle state only. They are kept idle only. Some finished in a 1 week. So the remaining persons are the means for the remaining 7 days they are just idle only. So these are the things we need to consider while giving the parallel processing. Parallel processing means you are giving programs to your computer and you are trying to execute. When you try to execute like this, means it's not the manner. Means when you are entering into the parallel processing, you should know what is the computing factor that is has been affected to your parallel processors. Means we should know what the work has been done by the process here. One is sitting idle and one is eventually kept busy, means it's not the efficiency, or it's not the speed of factor which is effective. All these things will affect your computational factors there itself only. So you are having the next one, that is the Gustafson law. So here you are having the low efficiency. What it is doing is it is that is increasing up, that is it has a higher our efficiency. So what it is doing is, so the problem here lies is some are kept busy and some are kept idle. So what it is doing, there is a factor called dimensions of the scalability. Just now we discussed, that is application scalability. In this application scalability, what I said, the problem what it is chosen should match your machine size. So likewise, the problem what you are choosing, that is should match with the cluster's capability. Means you are taking the small problem and you are giving to the 200 computers to execute, means it's not the appreciable. What you have to do, you need to take the size, the problem size into an account. So for that one, what you have to do is nothing but, so we should refer the that is a workload what it is giving should be scaled. So we are scaling the size, we are scaling the that is a technology and then software and then application, and we are scaling what one, that is a workload has to be considered. So for that, the W factor has been considered as a workload of a given program. When we are using n processor systems for processing, the user scales the workload as W dash, which is equals to alpha W plus 1 minus alpha n into W. What I am taking here account is, I am not taking into the time or efficiency or anything into the account. What I am giving is, it is completely depends upon the workload only. So I am taking the alpha T in the, so alpha W in the place of alpha T, and then next 1 minus alpha into the alpha into n into W has to be count. So here for each and every sequential execution, and also for the this one parallel execution for the on the end process, what we need to take into account is what is the workload. How can you scale your workload, like that we are specifying. So after that specifying the scale, that is scaling the workload, we will have the speed. So the S is the speed factor in this one, that is a Adam's law. So we are having the S dash is the speed of factor here. So which is W dash divided by W, and then we will have the, at last we will have the double alpha plus 1 minus alpha into n. So this is this one, what it is doing here is, take a look here. So in the previous example only I took that one. So that is what I am taking 256 nodes into an account. Here I am taking the efficiency into an account. So by substituting in that formula, I am getting the 0.751. So it is not, I am getting 1.5%. It's not the high one, like not that one. So when it is reduced to 0, or when it is factor, that is the efficiency of that one is the 0. Means it is there is no any waiting factor or idle factor as there. The systems what you have chosen has been used sufficiently, and they has been performed their factors sufficiently, like that it is specifying. So here, this is about these, that is Gustav's law, what you have taken, and then next Adam's law also. So these things has been considered while processing, and then next what it is doing is, it is also allowing an user to know about their know about their things. So has to be considered, that is what you are using, what is the problem, and then next what you are providing has to be considered there. And then next you are having the next factor, that is the fault tolerance. In the fault tolerance and the system availability, fault tolerance means whenever the fault has been occurred in any components of your system, how these systems apart from these failure also, how your total system has been means processed the thing without any delay. Means there should be some small delay without any without any loss of data or without any inconsistency how it has been processed. And then next the system availability. So in the system availability, we see the factor that is a HA, high availability. So the system availability, what you are taking here to cut is the mean time to failure and the next short time to fail, that is repair. So MTTF means the failure and the next failure plus repair has to be considered. System availability means whenever you are facing the crashing factor, what we have to do is nothing but we need to make your system should be available for all the time. For that, what we have to do is nothing but we need to take into consideration that what is the time taken for the failure, mean time of the failures what you have been, and then next what are the failures has been occurred and how you are going, how you repaired, means what the time taken to repair has to be taken into the account. In previous sessions also I described about the SPOF, that is a single point of the failure. So there is no, if you are using multiple components into your other multiple systems into an account, what it is doing is it is allowing the migration of your systems to overcome the point of failure there. If you are not using multiple systems on your that one, that is if your system is completely depends upon the one component or the one device only, there could occur the single point of failure. Means if you are using a system, if you are using a phone or anything, you are working or you on it and it has been failed, what you are doing, you have to wait until it repaired, means it has been overcome that problem. So if there is a, if you are in a network connection, means if you are in another one or the virtual platform, what they do is nothing but they will use of the guest operating system, they will use of that is another system to migrate. There is a concept called the live migration is there, live migration or the live migration I think. So the migration will be taken into, that is the hardware, the systems what you have chosen will be completely migrated into the another host system and you will completely execute that one. But there is a some delay will be there, that delay factor will be calculated here, that is a available, there is mean time to that is to failure and the next mean time to repair will be calculated, because the failure and the repair factor has to be, the time taken in between has to be considered here. So this is the uh, available system availability of that one. So the system availability here is the system size is here, and then next how come it is available means when you compare with that one, the clusters and the grid you are compared will be high available because they are having multiple systems. The grids and the clusters have the multiple nodes in that account. If any failure has been occurred, what they are doing is they will make available other systems to process the current job. Other like the MPP, you can consider the GPU and then peer-to-peer network, all these things are using. But when you are comparing with these things, the cluster and the grid are eventually allowing the user to make their system available even when the failure occurs also. So this about your first two topics, Ma. In the next class, I will describe the network threats and the remaining energy efficiency. Thank you.